Here we go. Who the hell are you, man? Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
We are the knights!
Hold on to your butt.
And now for something completely different.
Hello out there, and welcome to the Knights of Nerditude podcast for all things nerd. I am your host tonight, Sean, and I'm here joined on the Skype hotline with...
Yes, I'm still alive. It's Sam.
And I will be watching Game of Thrones with Wong next season. It's Chris.
All right, yeah, so... Damn, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, damn, I actually had an intro for this week that I was afraid Sam was going to steal. He didn't, and now I'm mad that I'm hosting.
No,
I
just mentioned the fact that I've been sick for a month.
Yeah, on and off.
And still going. And still going.
Still going. I may cough a bit during this.
A little hopped
All
up
right.
on Mountain Dew. Keep going.
So yeah, we got the She-Hulk finale. We've got some science news to touch upon because we finally have Sam, so we can actually talk the science news.
Update.
Yeah, that we've big update.
Science.
Big update.
Big update. Yeah.
Yes.
The truth is out there. Update.
Yes. So we also have Marvel dropped Werewolf by Night last week, so we're gonna review that. Yeah, and a few other things. So
Dabble
first of
in
all,
the house.
Dabble in a couple things. Let's really quickly start with those two trailers. I really want to just dabble in these. All right.
Well,
The
dip
first
our
one
toes
I'm
in.
gonna dip our toes in. First one I want to talk about
The boring
is
one.
Spirited,
Yes.
which is Apple Plus only. Although
Well,
it's being
no.
released.
Theaters.
It's being released in theaters November 11th, and then being streamed on November 18th. So that it stars Will Ferrell, Ryan Reynolds. It is a it's
Is it a musical?
Christmas Carol.
Is it a musical?
I don't.
They look
know.
like some musical numbers in there.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
bunch of dancing.
Yeah.
Yes, but it just seems like it. Well, it's definitely a Christmas Carol, but like reimagined for the modern day, which
By reimagined,
Very similar to
we're-
Scrooged.
Looks like we're just knocking off Scrooge.
yeah, yeah. So I want your thoughts, guys.
Yeah.
That is my thought. Oh,
Yeah,
so
right?
we're just remaking Scrooge, which is a remake of A Christmas Carol, which we have 90 billion versions of.
Yeah,
So
just turn
Apple,
on the.
but Apple Plus needs one, Sam.
Oh yeah, they need one.
Yeah, they have Will Ferrell signed on for X amount of, stuff. So
Yeah, we
might
gotta
as well utilize them in a Scrooge version on Apple Plus.
get more
right.
Ryan Reynolds here.
Yeah, I mean he is like one of those, sign him and you got a base, sort of like Tom Cruise.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of people out there like he's funny, and so watch it, and everyone will be disappointed.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds had like a nice little lull, but I feel like he's making a resurgence in his media dominance here. I mean, he's got the TV show, he owns
hitting
a
every
soccer
platform.
team, he's doing Deadpool again, like really ramping that up. And then he's got
Didn't he
this.
recently, I want to say 6 months ago, announce that he was going to slow down and stop doing things?
I feel like that was 6 years ago.
Was it? Maybe it was right after Deadpool 2. He was
I think it was, because then he started doing he had his own, he had gin, he had a hand in American gin and some other, I don't want to say low key things, but
he's got the phone company.
yeah, Mint Mobile, yeah.
Yep.
Why am I giving him advertising?
I don't know.
Chris, he needs the money, all right?
So to kind of wrap this movie up, go back to something I just said. So with it coming out in theaters on the November 11th, and then streaming on November 18th.
December 18th.
No, it's November. It's like a week later, I thought.
No, I think it's a month.
Double check for me, please.
Yes, sir.
But so with it being released in theater so early, I looked at that trailer and I was like, yeah, I would not spend money on this.
I mean, there's
I can't tell you
nothing there.
what was the last like good Will Ferrell movie where he's not a cameo or like a bit part. And it's sad that it's taking this long. Probably, I don't know.
It's a week later, November 18th. You're right. I thought it was December. All right, anyway.
The last thing I can think of is like he was kind of a bit part in it, but also kind of not. And it wasn't a movie. It was a TV show called The Spoils of Babylon.
Right. I said movie,
Yeah,
Sam.
and like that was pretty funny.
Yeah, what was it? It was
like,
definitely not Holmes and Watson.
No.
I think that came out in like 2013. So like,
yeah. So it's been a while since Will Ferrell has
Anchorman 2. Anchorman 2 was 2013. That's probably the last movie that he was.
I was going to say Anchorman 2.
Ooh,
I've never seen
Home.
it.
Daddy's Home with
That
Marky Mark.
sucked.
Did you watch it? It's Mark Wahlberg.
I've seen. Yeah, I know. It's not good. Don't know how it got a sequel, but it did.
But you don't watch Mark Wahlberg movies.
No, I don't pay to go see his movies in the theater.
Oh, so Transformers has been free for years, and you have yet to see those.
I don't want to.
Yeah, see, there you go.
I've seen Mark Wahlberg movies. It's just I don't
seen
see him in the
that
theater.
one shot of Mark Wahlberg standing up and going, "I think we got a Transformer here," and that's all I need. That can sustain me for years.
He just builds on it so much. The depth of Mark Wahlberg's character in those Transformers movies is like Oscar worthy.
He's constantly finding Transformers and is shocked by it.
Every time he sees, I think we got a Transformer here. I think we got a Transformer here. Like
it's like a fight scene. He's running to it. I think we got a Transformer.
Listen. Nowadays, you don't watch Michael Bay movies for the acting. Well, I don't want to say that, but you don't watch Michael Bay movies for the acting. You watch Michael Bay movies because of the just like the product placement. It's just how over the top it is displayed to you on the screen. Like the most recent Transformers was Bud Light. It's right there. It's the only beverage that's drank in the entire movie,
battle,
and it's a Bud Light.
It's got me so dehydrated. If only we had some Pepsi to hydrate us.
That's the thing. I think they were doing
here.
If I remember correctly, it was like a sit-down kind of romantic dinner date, and he's drinking a freaking Bud Light. I mean, if that describes Massachusetts, it was anything to describe Massachusetts residents in a nutshell, it is that. Sit down for a nice dinner date and you're drinking a Bud Light.
I think.
I feel like it would be a
It'd be Sam Adams.
No.
Hold on a second. Let me take a sip of this Bud Light. Anyways, so based on that of Will Ferrell's track record recently, and it coming out in like early to mid November for a Christmas movie, I'm not in the Christmas mood just yet. Usually post Thanksgiving, that's when I'm in.
Yeah, but it's going to compete with the next movie we're going to talk about.
I know. Well, no, it's not. So, like with all that, like I would not pay to go see this movie, but if it was streaming, I would. Yet I don't have Apple, so I'm just skipping this movie because this movie, like most of what Apple has produced, has not been like, you need this for this. Like, you need Apple Plus for this. Like, nothing has told me that. I know you, Chris, you and John have praised some of the things on Apple Plus or Apple TV or whatever it is.
No.
I just have no interest.
Yeah, no,
and
you're
it hasn't
right.
given me an interest.
You're right. There's yet to be that thing that everybody wants.
Yeah.
Or
And
everybody needs Apple Plus for.
This movie feels like a Netflix movie.
To me, this movie feels like something one of the big studios would have hacked out just to get out there. Like, it doesn't feel like one of the things the streamers get. Because streamers usually get, like, a little weirder stuff that like no
guess.
major studio would take a chance on, but still is hacked out and crap.
So yeah, that's my little thing. Like the fact that it's coming out early and just on Apple Plus, like I have zero interest in this.
No.
It's whatever. It's. I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying at all. So
yeah, I mean, it could be good. I mean, I'm not holding my breath, but
it's not going to be. It's not going to be.
Yeah.
I don't think
I've been burned too many times.
It will be. I have every confidence that it will be well shot, like good quality. But I like.
Yeah, they definitely put
it's
money
not
into
gonna-
it. It's got a floor on how well it's going to look, but
right.
eh.
All right. So going on to our next, our second trailer, really quick. Violent Night with David Harbour.
That's what the name of the movie should be. Like it shouldn't just be Violent Night. It should be Violent Night with Dave Harbour.
So this movie is coming out December 2nd, which is why I said no, it's not competing with Spirited, because it's coming out almost a month later. So no chance they're going to be competing against each other, because Spirited won't be in theaters at the time. But this is from the producers of Bullet Train and Nobody, which was that movie that came out, last year?
Yeah, it was last year.
Where,
Who's the guy? Saul, Better Call Saul.
Yeah. Anyways,
Bob
Odenkirk.
Odenkirk then, or Odenkirk.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Odenkirk. Anyways, so it's David Harbour plays the real Santa Claus, and John Leguizamo is trying to rob some people, and Santa Claus gets mixed up in it, and everyone that's robbing them is on the naughty list, so Santa goes apeshit on them, and
it's very. What was that movie with Mel Gibson? Was it The Snowman?
Fat Man?
Fat
The
Man.
Fat Man.
It sounds very similar to Fat Man.
Oh, yeah. It sounds like the Fat Man, but so
Yeah,
I guess it feels like this movie is taking itself less seriously than the
which
Fat Man,
is
which
exactly
the Fat
what
Man didn't take itself
Fat
seriously.
Man like needed, because like the Fat Man,
Yes.
like there were moments in that where it's like, do you think this is a good idea? Because it's not a good idea. This is not a good story. I'm just here because like I want to see Santa beat people up. Also, why is Mel Gibson Santa Claus? When I think of a jolly ripe old elf, I don't think Mel Gibson.
Right. You also don't really think Dave Harbour.
I think
so
Dave Harbour
it's-
more.
Are you sure? Because Dave Harbour lost like 100 pounds.
Yeah, no.
Like,
for Stranger
He's
Things
lost
he did.
the weight,
Well,
but like his mannerism and his characters he usually plays, usually like jolly guys.
No.
Yeah.
No. No.
Yeah,
I
no.
just think they're both off. Look, that's not that kind of movie anyway. This isn't.
Yeah.
This is just.
I-
this
I-
is literally just a Die Hard movie where it's just how cool can the kills be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like he sticks the candy cane, like sharpens this candy cane and sticks it through the
Oh
guy's
yeah,
face.
that's got Die Hard ice pick written all over it.
And then like the Christmas star in the eye, and then he plugs it in to electrocute the guy. Like this looks like a fun movie. I honestly I'm kind of
I
excited.
feel
for
like
this.
we get a movie like this every year around Christmas where it's like, oh, we're gonna do like a silly R-rated action comedy around Christmas, and we always get suckered into it of like, oh boy, this is gonna be fun, and then it's just never that fun because it's got one leg to stand on, and like everything else kind of sucks.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, but I don't think it was every year. I think there was a nice little gap in between the early 2010s.
It feels like every
where there
year
wasn't
where
a-
we get something like
Yeah.
this. But yeah, it's so. But at the same time, it's like parts of this like actually look kind of fun. The one thing I kind of wish they went with is I wanted the bad guys to be like they hate Christmas, like they're like villains from like a Rankin Bass like puppet cartoons that they would do,
Yeah.
but like it's an action movie. It's like we're gonna steal the
they might.
spirit of Christmas.
I mean, they might. I mean, this trailer doesn't give a lot.
Yeah, but they're clearly
of
stealing
plot
money,
details
not the
away.
spirit of Christmas. So
I don't think
That's
this
true,
trailer
that's true.
needs plot details.
I don't think this
No,
movie
no.
We know
really
what
needs
this-
much of a plot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know what this movie
Yeah.
is.
So-
we don't need anything else.
So this is being released December 2nd, like I said, in theaters. Would you guys be willing to pay to watch this movie?
No.
Based on what you've seen, not reviews, like just straight up right now.
If it's not on Discount Tuesday, then no.
I need some
No, I
good
mean,
reviews.
you can go Discount Tuesday. You're still paying for it.
Yeah.
Would you go on a discount Tuesday?
Yeah,
to
I'd
see
probably
this
go
one?
on Discount Tuesday.
I probably would too, because I didn't mind Bullet Train, and
Right? Bullet Train was this the only reason why it's making me think like, okay, you might actually enjoy this because
Yeah.
Bullet Train. I like Bullet Train.
it had its flaws, but I was
I mean,
was
Bullet
entertained.
Train was a hot mess, though.
But I was entertained.
Was it? It was entertaining. Hot
Yeah.
Mess.
Oh no, it was
was
an
very
entertaining movie.
entertaining.
There were definitely moments like the Thomas the Tank Engine stuff, but like at the same time, it's like it was like a real like a hot mess of a plot where it's just like, why are there so many moving parts when none of this is necessary?
Anyways,
But this does not look like it
yeah,
has a
so-
billion moving parts, so I guess.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, it seems like there's two moving parts that collide. Yeah, I this is definitely a movie. Pending reviews, obviously. If the reviews aren't bad, I mean, this could be a dumpster fire, or it could be like, oh yeah, it was entertaining, it was okay. And if it's like that, I'd probably go see it. Any final thoughts?
No,
on
we're all in
trailer?
the same
Yeah,
boat.
yeah.
Yeah, this is
All right, cool. Let's jump into some science.
Science!
Yes, Sam. Sam,
Yeah.
this is for me and you, bud.
Okay.
So I mentioned Dart in the mission itself last week, and I'm not gonna lie. When I asked you pre-pod, are you aware of Dart?
And my response was, I watched it live.
Yes, and that made me so happy. I didn't see it live. I watched the video afterwards because it just worked. But a stupid work getting in the way.
Stupid work.
Don't they know that history is being made?
So Sean and John were making fun of me a little bit because I'm excited for this. I mean, we prevent things like Don't Look Up happen.
Yeah.
We can't prevent bad movies from being made, but we can
Armageddon.
at least slightly prevent asteroids from collapsing.
We can't rely on Bruce Willis forever. He's got his little memory disease, so we can't send him into space anymore. So
Yeah. And we sent Ron Perlman in Don't Look Up, so we'll
Yeah.
see.
And we can always send Aerosmith. I'm okay with that.
Let's just do that now. We don't need an asteroid.
Yeah, please.
Speaking of Massachusetts, but anyway, Dart. So Dart kicked off, and we finally got results. I actually watched the results live, the press conference for this.
Ooh.
Yeah, I
did
know,
see the
right?
results.
I don't know why, but I'm like addicted to this story. Mostly because I'm like, wow, sad movies can not happen anymore. What's the movie? Seeking Her Friend to the End of the World or something with Steve Carell and Keira Knightley.
And Keira Knightley.
Yeah, I'm like that was sad and depressing. So let's try and avoid that one. So we got the results in, and it was better than expected.
yeah,
So
Yeah,
they actually, I don't want to say they altered the trajectory, but they,
They
stopped. In a way where
They-
it's
they did
essentially
alter the
essentially slowed the speed of the asteroid
for
down.
those who don't know, so the point of Dart was they were trying to hit a moonlet, which is this smaller asteroid that orbits a bigger asteroid. And what they were trying to do is basically just slam a satellite into it and see what happens. And see if we can alter its course. Because if an asteroid's coming at Earth and we got time, we could just send a satellite at it, slam it into it, change its trajectory, and it won't hit Earth. So they wanted to see, can we do this? And, you hit a smaller asteroid that's orbiting another asteroid, you don't have to worry about that smaller asteroid now coming at us by accident. So they were just trying to slow the speed of the asteroid down so it would change its orbit around the bigger asteroid. And they hit it. Also, like the last 2 minutes were entirely automated, which was cool. It's like the first time they've ever done something like that. And it's the first time we've ever altered the orbit of a celestial object.
Yeah, very impressive. And we altered it by, I think we slowed it. They slowed the orbit by 32
Yeah, it was like
minutes.
20 or 30 minutes, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, which is more than what they expected. A lot more than what they expected. So, I mean, it's all looking pretty good, and I'm super excited about stuff like this.
Yeah, we now sort of kind of understand how to do this. They have to do it again. The European Space Agency, I think next year, is going to launch a satellite to go look at the results on the asteroid.
Nice.
So that
I'm wondering if they're going to start. I'm wondering if they're going to start trying to do maybe impact explosion based. So when it impacts, time it simultaneously, where the second it hits, like a small explosion goes off to give it the extra energy jolt.
the only issue I think they'd have with that is you don't want it to break apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's multiple pieces.
Yeah, you don't want multiple pieces.
No,
so
you're absolutely right. So that's why I think it may be sort of like, how a claymore kind of just explodes out.
Yeah.
So maybe do it where the explosion is backward facing. I mean, this is obviously more
I know
but
one of the things they've talked about is literally using what is essentially a tractor beam, where they kind of like, or it's not so much a tractor beam, it's like they're firing ions at an asteroid. This is like if you have like years in advance, you fire these like tiny subatomic particles at the asteroid, and if you do that long enough, it'll just alter its course. You don't have to slam into it. Just like
I don't think
poking
that's. So I'm wondering also another scenario that they probably thought of is if you land the machine on the asteroid and then simply just lock it in, utilize the jet to try and push.
That's also been an idea.
So we're getting there, Sam. Why aren't we working at NASA?
I know.
Why aren't we working at NASA?
We know this stuff.
We can be idea men.
So I think the what to come out of all this is suck it, dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I think that is the outcome.
What you
of
got
this.
on us?
Well, there's that, but it's also like, all right, we're getting there. I mean, like we're getting there. We know of 99% of all large asteroids. We know all of them.
Well,
in our area.
we
well, the big ones, like over a kilometer big or something.
The area
we know
they're
most
like
of them.
really uncertain is towards the sun.
Is the middle.
Because it's really hard to find an asteroid when you're looking at the sun. Because it's all bright.
Yeah, you do it at night, Sam, obviously. You look at night. The sun isn't out. You just look at the nighttime.
No, I think what they're the ones they need to find, and they said this, are like the medium size, 150 yards or bigger. Like those are the ones they can't really find, all of them. And that's the ones that do cause, regional damage, not just global extinction. I think the press conference, they said they found something like 90% of the global killers in our current solar system.
Probably something like that.
Something like that. So that's
area like around us, sort of.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I'm comforted by that fact, but still.
I know they...
I mean, it would be nice to
I know
get
they
all
have
this
some missions planned where they're going to start launching satellites whose job it is entirely just to find planet killers and like continent killers and city killers.
And bring them to justice.
They're all going to be wearing Stetsons and have like little stars.
Look, it's all impressive, Sam. I'm so happy that you're involved in your way.
I was all about that, because it was just really cool to watch, because it's like you had this like little blob next to a big blob, and then that blob got clearer and clearer and clearer, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can see like individual rocks, and now I can see the rock it's about to hit.
Yep. And then you
Yeah,
can see
and
nothing.
then the screen goes blank.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen so many people cheer in a room for
Yeah.
a black screen.
All right. Any other science
we
news?
do
Or
have-
is that the big one?
No, the shuttle launches
Yeah, we do
November
have a
still.
new launch date, November 14th. So at 12:07
All right, we'll see if that
a.m.
happens.
So
Ooh,
Yep.
why so early?
It's closest
Yeah.
orbit. to
That's
the
when
moon,
most of the
probably.
people in Florida are getting up for breakfast. That is an old person joke. Thank you. Anyways,
Yeah, we're good
Yeah.
with science for now.
yeah, okay, good. Then I would like to touch upon something Sam hasn't been around very much for, which is Rings of Power. We know what Chris and John feel about this show and where this show is heading and the pace and everything. I'm just very curious because I haven't touched it since the second episode. Actually, a little bit of the third. I've been busy. So, Sam, I want your thoughts on this show.
Before the season finale tomorrow.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
still like an episode behind. Yeah,
Which is fine. You're still what, like 5 or 6
I'm
episodes
like on
in?
episode 5, I think.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's a little slow. You know, characters are a bit wooden, but overall, I'm enjoying it. You know, feels like we're building to something. You know, I don't know.
What was the last part you saw? I'm sorry, I just understand.
I think where I left off, the wizard angel dude was helping the family move their cart.
Did they leave? Did the ships leave New
No,
Meloria?
no, I have not reached that point.
Okay, so you got a good chunk to catch. It starts to
Yeah,
pick
yeah.
up at that.
Like
point.
it hasn't lost me. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying like let's just throw around a bunch of names and stuff and, and like have me have to like open up the Lord of the Rings Wikipedia and be like, what the hell are they talking about?
Wow, see, I'm trying not to look at that stuff, so just give me
Yeah.
the story.
It's
Unlike Lord of the Rings, unlike House of the Dragon, I don't need a family tree every episode with updated
yeah.
characters.
We'll get into that.
that's
in a
the
moment.
show I have not picked back up. So I'll need an update for you guys.
Yeah,
for that.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings we'll tie up
Yeah, I
next
mean,
week with the series finale.
It's not
season
blowing
finale.
me away, but it hasn't lost me, you know? And there's just something nice about watching a fantasy show that's just trying to be a fantasy show. Where it's just like, hey, you know, we're going to throw some weird words at you. There's going to be some elves, some dwarves, and magic and shit. And just
Right.
like, you know what? We're going to geek out to this together. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, here's a little bit of Lord of the Rings thrown at you. 6 years, 7 years, 10 years after the
Yeah.
movies or the Hobbit trilogy.
Yeah,
or
it's like-
whatever it is.
We don't have to be
Hobbit.
edgy about this. We don't have to have some like deeper meaning other than like Tolkien's being like, stop chopping down trees, people. Like other than that, it's like, hey, it's just like a fun little hero story. Isn't this fun? It's like, you know what? It is. I'm good with this.
Oh, good. Good. I'm glad
Yeah,
you're still
I'm
on board. I am too. All right, Sean.
Then we're not gonna like go anywhere but straight to the House of the Dragon, I guess.
Oh yeah,
as Sam
yeah. Let's just
Yeah.
let's just
to
let's,
the-
let's
to
just
the-
get
Okay,
into
so
this thing
I
here.
think
'cause-
I left off on episode 3, whatever was the last one before I got like.
Sam, you
Did
missed
they do
so
any
much.
time jump?
No,
Did
I
they
have
do
not
any
reached.
Yes,
time jump
every
with it?
episode
I
has
have-
a no.
No,
Not the
they didn't. So
massive.
They have
Sam's
not
in the
changed
original.
the
one.
actors yet. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way.
All right, so we're 4 time jumps later.
Sam, 2 actors.
Yeah.
Only
Sorry.
2 change.
No,
Everyone
that's not
else is-
true.
Oh, sorry, the kids.
Yeah, and apparently
changed,
we
yeah.
need to know that because I guess they play an important part in the future. So
Apparently, so
whatever.
glad we're still stuck in this pilot episode that is multiple episodes long.
Yeah, this is a 7 or 8 episode pilot.
Yeah, no, it's like a pilot first season.
Yeah,
Is
it's
what.
You,
So
still it did
you
another
think
time jump.
The advantage.
yeah, 6
You think
years,
you
6
think
years
the
on
advantage
this
of
one.
a prequel is you would have to do less world building. It's like we all
Yeah.
know this.
It's
But not.
You know, I was talking about this today in water cooler talk because that's what Game of Thrones is.
Yeah.
It is. It's not something like I have a hard time following some of these characters. Well,
Especially
a lot because the
children.
names. Yeah, a lot because the names are
Yeah.
very similar, but it's also because
Well-
like the children have been aged.
Yeah.
2 years, then 4 years, then 6 years, or whatever it is. They've just been
Well,
consistently aged
yeah.
at certain gaps. You're like, wait a second, I only remember one. Like the guy with who cut the eye.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's
'Cause
the
he's
only one
who-
I remember.
It's like him and like Damon's daughter. I remember her, like the older daughter.
yeah, sure,
Although,
sure,
yeah,
sure.
I remember them.
Yeah, and I don't know where they're at right now. It seems like maybe one is a ward, but another one is not. Like I don't know.
I don't
know.
I
And
don't know.
and I spent most of the past episode trying to figure out and remember. All right, which one is which? Throughout the entire episode, that I just completely ignored a lot of what was happening,
I didn't miss much.
and I didn't miss anything. And that's a problem with this show. I think with Game of Thrones, and we're talking about the water cooler today, I think with Game of Thrones, the original seasons, it was much better in a sense that at the end of season 1, I knew all the characters and who they were, what their names were, and I don't want to say what their like plot point was, but essentially where their loyalty lied. Primarily because we were able to distinguish the Starks are in Winterfell, Lannisters are King's Landing, Baratheons, King's Landing. Like you were able to make that, and then Jon Snow at the Wall. Like you were able to make that distinction that these are the characters, these are their locations. Let me digest that so I know what this tastes like. Whereas this show, they're all in King's Landing, almost always at the same time, and you're constantly changing characters' appearances and faces and.
Well, there has been some kind of time jump between every episode. I think the shortest was between episodes 1 and 2. It was 6 months. And that was the
Something
shortest.
like that. They're using it as plot.
Yeah,
You should
so
not be using time jump as plot.
This show, it's literally going, hey, at the end of every episode, they're like, hey, something's happening. Let's jump ahead 3 years and see the result of that conflict. Like rather than showing us what's going on. So apparently, the sea snake guy has been at war for 6 years. Like
Right.
hasn't been home in 6
Right.
years. Like we saw him in the last episode. He mentioned nothing about leaving home and going to do whatever. And apparently he's sick and dying. And like, cool. How? Why? What happened? Oh, we got a letter. Ooh.
Yeah. You know what bothers me the most about this previous episode? And I don't want to say it's spoilers. It's not really spoilers, but
Nothing is spoilers in this show.
yeah, not anymore. I mean, it's Thursday, but at the end of the episode, when you watch it on HBO, they have like the director's commentary or writer's commentary,
I
whatever,
never watched
whatever
that.
it is.
Yeah.
I for some reason I like let it go and I was distracted and then we went back to it. And after I watched the episode, the first thing they talk about is explaining what's going on in the episode, where the Rhaenyra came back, and they were explaining this. Rhaenyra came back to a Queen Regent, Alicent, whatever,
Yeah.
and she is in a depression, but she takes comfort in faith of the sevens, like the father, the mother, and all that stuff. Mm-hmm, and I guess that was a big focal point of what the episode was supposed to be about. She's upset because the king is dying and responsibility of the crown, and she takes comfort in the faith of the sevens with all the praying and everything. And Rhaenyra comes back to this castle. Like, they made a point to show that she doesn't recognize the castle because of all this stuff. And I'm just thinking to myself, that is fine, except every single thing you showed me did not prove to me that was what you wanted to achieve.
Oh, yeah.
So you showed Rhaenyra's viewpoints of the castle, and she said it looks different. Okay. But all you showed was a 7-pointed star on the wall.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Like, who picks that up? Who picks that up? And then the faith of the sevens, I mean, nobody mentioned anything about religion or faith before this episode, and you're bringing in the faith of the sevens. Sure. I mean, but is it that big of a deal? No, who cares? Is she depressed? I can't really tell. I mean, her queen is on his deathbed, essentially, or the king is. And I mean, the points they're trying to hit home, they're not actually doing a good job of it. And as the viewer, I should at least have hints of that. Whether or not I get it or not, I should at least have hints that this is what you're trying to say. I'm not picking it up. And that's what's making me think that you're wanting to give me a story, and you're writing it on paper, and you have this vision in your head, but visually, it's not getting to the viewer. And I think that's one of the biggest problems with this show, is they have a story that they want to tell, but for some reason, not for some reason, but there are reasons, it is not translating well to being good viewing material. And I think a lot of that also has to do with the time jumps. They have a story in their head, and they want to get to a certain point, but we need to do 10 time jumps in order to get there. That doesn't make any sense.
A lot of this easily could have been one 2-hour episode where we just skip through a lot, and you can do the time jumps in that.
Do you think this is them dragging it out, or do you think this is them being impatient?
I think this is being
impatient.
I think this is them being incompetent. They're trying to the whole point of these time jumps is to build your rapport with the characters and your love of these characters. And unfortunately, it is not happening that way because of all the time jumps. If you were to show me, if you were to give me episode 1, and then say it's 20 years in the future, and start episode 2 on last week's episode, you wouldn't be lost at all.
No.
You would not be lost at all. You could put filler in that just to kind of give you a little bit of the backdrop, like she married his uncle. And that's it. Like, you could have skipped all those episodes and still got to the same place with simple writing basics. And it's
I feel like going forward, all the children are going to obviously have bigger parts in the civil war that's about to break out. But, like, did they really need to set up the princess and the king and queen and the prince and like that whole thing? If in the long run, are they really that necessary in this story? Like, I understand it. They are supposed to be. But if the children are the most important part, why have we been spending all this time with the parents?
Right. And I think if they want the children to be the important part, they should have started with this episode.
Yes.
And then built from here.
Or even the last episode, even. Like, start with the past 2 episodes, things are finally happening, but I wouldn't say major things are happening. It's like, it's, pushing along slow, but at least something compared to the previous, this last episode was episode 8. So the first 6 episodes, like, nothing happens other than the slow decline in health of the king. And some strange reason, the queen starts hating her best friend. Like, I understand Rhaenyra not like it, like being upset because, she married her dad, and like that's gonna irk me in a weird way. But I don't understand why the queen hates Rhaenyra and is like out to get her.
Like,
and
'cause
also
her kids, I guess.
So something that never came up in this podcast, but I did also had a water cooler moment at work talking about this show. Yeah, it's weird. So I hate the fact that they introduced that character, the cripple guy, in like 2-3 episodes ago, and he's like, "Oh, look at me," and you're like, "Oh, that guy's totally evil." And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do evil stuff."
Oh,
And
he's
it's
like
who
a
knew
Richard
that
the
this
Third type,
guy who's acting.
where it's like he's
Yeah,
a deformed
it's
guy,
so
so he's got to
fun.
be evil.
He's very Littlefinger.
Yeah,
He's very
yeah.
Littlefinger-ish.
Like you meet him and you're like, "Oh, this guy's up to no good," obviously. And it's like, "Oh yeah, no, he isn't up to any good, and he's doing bad things." And for some reason, the queen's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna
Son,
keep him
you
around
see,
for a bit."
his exterior is symbolizing the rot
Mm-hmm.
inside of him. See, it's very deep and hasn't been used in a billion
Yeah.
other things before, and used so
Exactly,
much better.
and such. Yeah, it's such lazy writing doing that, like creating that character, when so many other people could have been that
It's
character.
also just
but
odd,
wouldn't.
like
Chris.
post Nazis to be doing that. You know what I mean? Where it's like, why are we like still picking on people who aren't the pure type?
Same use air quotes, by the way.
Big air quotes on that. It's an odd move to do that, post Nazis.
So we have 2 more episodes left of this show,
Yeah, I'm almost wondering we just stop talking about it until it's over.
and I'm okay with that. Because we have the Green Council and the Black Queen are the last 2 episodes, which just looking at fan score on IMDb of the last 2 episodes, like these are supposedly the best 2 episodes of this, which I will agree. The last 2 episodes were okay, but not 9.5 and 9.3 worthy. This past episode is apparently a near perfect episode, which is dumb.
Yeah, just compare that to the first season of Game of Thrones and tell me what their Rotten Tomato score is.
You mean IMDb?
Is it? Well, yeah, IMDb. Yeah,
Yeah,
go to season 1 Game of Thrones and tell me what their
What the
first
highest episode?
in season 1. Yeah,
Yeah, season 1 highest rated episode. So 991, 9.6 for. So the last 2 episodes were 9.6 and then 9.4. The last 2. That was it Baelor and Fire and Blood.
What? So what episode did we just watch for House of Dragon? What number?
8.
It was 8, right?
Yes. Right. Yeah. Episode 8. So yeah. Where we finally have, I guess, something happening. Which, all right, really quickly, this show does not have the balls to kill off this king. I understand. I believe he's dead now, but they don't ever show him die. He kind of dies when it like goes to black, and then you hear him like basically die, but they don't show it, which can only like 3 episodes ago he died, and then they did the 10-year time jump, and he's still alive.
You know
So,
what?
like-
you know what? The whole 7 or 8 episodes was to set up the statement he made to
At the
Allison
dinner?
at the end. Aegon,
Yeah.
something about a dream and unite the realm. Like the whole point of these 8 episodes was to get to that statement to her, where essentially the lines are drawn between the 2 sides.
Yeah.
Like this is it. And I think it's just, I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure you can say some of this about the regular, like the original Game of Thrones, and you could skip over some episodes, but still, like, it's just, I don't care about any of these characters. You can kill any one of them, and I just won't care. Whereas
Matt Smith has obviously become the fan favorite because he is kind of interesting.
and married his niece. But yeah,
But
sure.
like I guess there's something there that's a little interesting compared to everyone else who's very wooden and like no characteristics at all.
Right?
So like the fact that everybody's hanging their hats on Damon is very sad. And even the children come off as like assholes. Like very privileged, like I'm owed the world, so woe for me for not getting everything I want kind of thing. And it's just like it's
That's
just
the problem with
annoying.
making a story around assholes. Sometimes they're just assholes, and you don't want to spend time around them.
Yeah.
It's like they're not, I don't want
Yeah.
no. You're just an asshole.
Yeah. But it's also weird, like I was sitting there today and I was like going through all the children and I'm like, all right, so the queen has 2 more children with the king, and then Rhaenyra has 3 bastard children, then 2 more with Daemon because it's been 6 years. So she has 5 kids now, which is weird that like episode 2 and 3 she was like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that.
Complete 180.
And then completely changed her tune once she got married to a guy who didn't want anything to do with her.
It's called character
was
development, Sean. But
Oh,
See,
is
there's
that
this
what
arc
it
to this
is? Oh,
character's
okay.
transforming. They don't
Yeah,
want
we're not-
kids, and then they do, and there's an arc in the middle. Yeah.
No. It's not that. It's they don't want kids,
Yeah,
and then they have
and then
5.
there's an arc in the middle.
Yeah, there's no arc.
There's no.
It's
a
like the Big
straight
Bang
line.
Theory. It's like the Big Bang Theory. For 10 seasons, Penny didn't want kids, and then the last episode, she's having a kid. So,
I will take your word for that because I think I've seen half an episode.
yeah, so that's pretty much what it is. Look. I mean, House of Dragon is leaving. I almost want to say it's leaving a lot on the table.
I mean, they can go anywhere because they haven't really done anything.
Yeah, that's so true. All they did was just introduce a lot of cannon fodder.
Yeah,
That's really all they did.
And this show absolutely hates secondary characters because every time it introduces us to a secondary character, they're dead in 5 minutes.
Yeah, usually. Well,
Like-
I mean, in the original, but
It's-
everybody like
it's-
wanted the main characters
Yeah.
towards the end of it.
But I mean, this is the first season, though. Like, eventually, through the original run of the show, like it stretched it out, and like that happened. But in this show, literally, they're introduced. Like, Damon has 2 wives that have a grand total of like 6 minutes on screen.
yeah, it's. I'm just. I mean, I hate to keep doing this, but I keep comparing it to Game of Thrones. Not because it's the same writers, but it's just because it's the same world, and like by this point, I already had my favorites for characters, and I already hung my hat on, who I wanted to support in this thing, and I already hated Cersei Lannister. Like I already hated Cersei Lannister. It's just
Like, who do you hate in this? Other than
who do you love in
everyone.
this? Who do you hate in this? Who do you
literally,
want to root
who
for in this?
I don't want to root for anybody.
I
one is
I want to
likable.
see it all burn. I mean,
Yeah.
I want that.
Yeah. Maybe that's the goal of this show, is to make us hate everyone, so then when everything goes to shit, like we're like, yay, everything's better now.
Yeah, right. I said it when it first announced, and I'll say it now. House of the Dragon was not the way it should have gone for a spin-off. It should have been something else, because Targaryens are not interesting. Even though you think like Queen of the Dragons, Mother of Dragons, or whatever.
Yeah. They have dragons, and that is the depth of their personality.
They marry their siblings. I mean, we also got betrothments of cousins in this episode,
Yeah.
so it's just like, okay.
like,
I mean, granted,
cousins, or-
in real world and old times they did this.
So
but
okay, so she
It's cousins.
promised it. Well, so she promised the
strong bastards married
Yes.
to the daughters.
whose daughters?
or the grandchildren of the king's sister, essentially,
So
from Dragonspear.
So wait, the strong
So-
bastards.
See, God, I can't even explain it. It's just
It's the family tree is so muddled and like mixed up because like literally all the kids are
you
like
think that would
uncle
make
and
it
nephew,
easier, 'cause
which
then
is
it's just a
really
line.
weird. No, it
no,
is
no.
very confusing.
I see what's At some point, when you just do over time, your line is eventually spiked, but at some point, just due to like duration and stuff, it levels out.
Yeah, it just like all the relationship of all the kids. It's just like very weird and muddled and like all over the place.
Yeah,
It's just like
they use a lot of Plan B tea, though. Give you that.
Yes, they do, and it doesn't work.
It doesn't work? No, it did work. Theoretically, it did.
I guess.
Well, we'll see if they have any
Moving
bastards
on.
running around, but yeah, can we
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about House of Dragon
No.
anymore.
All right. That's perfectly fine.
Two more.
Yeah. So 2 more episodes. Thank God. And then we're done with this. All right. Let's go quickly. Well, last 2 things are in the MCU over in Disneyland. So we'll start with the season finale of She-Hulk, which aired the day we're recording this. So we
Yeah,
actually
guys.
all watched it.
Guys,
Yeah.
She-Hulk may be my favorite MCU TV show.
I
Aside from
agree.
the Netflix stuff, She-Hulk
Yeah.
may be my favorite.
What do you mean? You mean like Daredevil, who is in this show
Yeah. No. I mean, hey.
in
it's-
his yellow suit, which is like when I saw that it was going to be the yellow suit. The yellow suit is not a nice looking suit in the comics.
They
Cox
made
pulls
it
off.
more gold.
Charlie Cox pulls it off.
Yeah, it's more gold than yellow. But anyway,
Either way,
they apart from the Netflix originals, this I mean, I'm all behind. This is probably my favorite MCU TV show because it doesn't have any. There's like no real implications to the greater universe as a
there's
whole.
one. There's one,
Yeah, one. It's just
which we'll get into later.
you give me stuff and it's fun. Like they had that whole episode at the commune, not the commune. The
Oh, that was
retreat with
amazing.
Blonsky. I mean, come on, just get like these 25-minute. I don't want to say procedurals, but almost like episodic,
Self-contained
type
little
adventures.
things.
Not even adventures, but like in it day in the life of She-Hulk / Jen Walter. Like,
Yeah.
give it to me.
Yeah.
Just give it to me.
I
And
like about the show how it's able to pull out like D-list characters from the comics
Porcupine.
and just introduce them into the show and just be like,
And that's
"Oh, yeah,
like
don't
part
worry
of the
about it."
joke is that like
Like leapfrog.
these are never gonna make it to the movies, or even they shouldn't probably even make it into the TV
Oh, yeah.
show.
Right.
But we're playing them off as jokes, so let's just do this.
Yeah, and it worked out really well, which is amazing.
Right? It really did.
Like
It
and
really did.
just watching the show, I'm like, yeah, I need more of this because it's a nice way of introducing all those like crappy characters in a way that gives them like that
But-
15 minutes of fame,
But
and
also,
now you're
it's just
gone back
nice
into
to sit in this
obscurity.
world and it not be like a world-ending event. It's just like, here's a character living in this world trying to be a lawyer. Boom.
Yeah, and I
Right.
love this. The last
Finale
episode, the finale,
takes
how
a
it calls
turn.
out all the MCU stuff.
the super meta fourth wall break.
Super meta. Like the fourth wall isn't just broken; it's not shattered. It's like decimated.
Yeah, it's not existent.
Like it goes to the Disney Plus menu.
Yeah,
Like that's how destroyed the
Jen
fourth wall.
Yeah,
Walters
and it's just-
talking
it's like
Like
to
it makes
her
fun of
Deadpool
writers,
look like it's
which is very like Deadpool
Yeah.
and something I would not expect from the show, and yet it kind of works. It's a bit jarring where you're just like,
oh, it definitely worked.
Yeah,
And
but
then
like
then she
the
talked
biggest
to Kevin.
But the biggest kicker is her talking to Kevin, and it's
Yeah.
just they
What
make
Marvel
fun of
is.
what everybody is criticizing them for.
Yep.
And it's just like it's I like it's almost saying screw you MCU universe. We're just gonna go against the grain and call you out that you're very formulaic and you need to change that.
I love the scene with Kevin where he's like, "Hey, can you turn back into Jennifer Walters,
have a low
but like
budget.
do it off camera because it's cheaper that way." Yeah, we're spending a lot of money elsewhere right now, so can you do that off camera? Oh, okay, perfect.
You know what the thing is too is that I've noticed that over the episode length, the CGI is either gotten better
we're
or
just
I'm
getting
definitely
used to
getting
it.
used to it more.
I think you're
that's
used to
it.
it.
Okay,
And
is
I'm
that
okay with
okay? Yeah, because it's becoming
once
more
we're like,
comfortable
we realize
for me.
like we're
Yeah.
not gonna get a
Not
bunch
pointed
of
out.
like action scenes where we're gonna be seeing this like CGI mess, and it's just like it's just a character. I think we've gotten to the point of
Yeah.
sure.
Which I mean, almost did. We almost did
That
when like everyone
that's
shows up
what,
at the end
like,
of the
really
episode.
sold me at the end because I'm just like because that was her thoughts were exactly my thoughts. Of like
Yeah, because the second you saw Hulk smash into the
Like,
screen, you're like, "Oh my god, what's going on here?"
And she's like, "That makes no sense. He just falls out from space and just like appears to
but,
save
I
me."
love how
Like,
she's just like no, we don't have to end it like this. I'm just
Can a bad guy just be a bad guy?
not like the Winter Soldier-esque, like super serum. Like that, we don't have to go that route. Like it's been done in all the other ones.
Yeah,
Ooh,
and
my
what about
blood
all the
changes.
daddy issues?
Yeah, and she goes through. And I love how she sits down. He's like, "Oh, we're sitting now." Oh man, yeah, and like, okay, this show was
It's just
hit hard
they
by
play
trolls.
they play on the not like the NDA.
sign
Just
the
oh, you have to sign it. Just
Everyone
why
has to
didn't you
sign
make
it.
me sign it? Oh, we all have to.
Everybody has to sign it. But so this show was hit hard by trolls on the internet and like horrible reviews and whatnot. And I love how this last episode with this secret group is basically getting back at all of them. Because that's exactly
some of
what's
the
been
earlier
going on this whole time.
episodes-
And it's weird
some of the
that they
earlier
called it
episodes, 'cause when this
before.
first came out, there was a bunch of like these trolls who like went out of their way, and like some of the tweets they showed in this series were those exact tweets that people said when they announced the show. Yeah,
Really? Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, good for them to
Like,
incorporate.
this show 100% like saw that it was going to get called out for being quote unquote woke because it's got a female superhero, which how dare she be a female? That's for the men to do.
Yeah, that's right.
And it called out that whole population, and like I applaud this show for doing that. Like,
but also
realistically, if this show
forget
was
the
playing it
character's
safe,
name,
it wouldn't have
the
done
male
that.
lawyer. Yeah, Pug just
Oh, Pug?
being like,
Yeah.
I'm a guy and I'm not a sexist douchebag. And I don't like sexist
Yeah.
douchebags. It's like, you know
You
what?
just did-
It's nice to see us represented.
Which when
Right.
they first introduced Pug, I was like, how do I know him? And then I was like, oh crap, that's what Prometheus from Arrow.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I know him from somewhere, and I looked up his IMDb. And I was like, oh my god, he's from Arrow.
Oh yeah, a
like,
whole
that
season
makes-
for that one.
Yeah,
No, it's like this. Everything about the show just really makes it fun and exciting and interest. Like it's interesting. I love how they kind of. I mean, I love how they flip the switch, and she's just like, "You can bring in more Daredevil, so I can ride the Daredevil." It's just like, you do it, Jen. You do what you need to, girl. You go for
like
it.
he just appears at the end. I'm like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, right. Jumps from trees. Just,
Like out of nowhere, just like lands in the middle of the yard.
yeah, that shows up to. Yeah, we'll hit this now. So he shows up
Yeah.
to the dinner, the family dinner, and all this other stuff. But like, the Hulk comes back, huh? And we get this is the meta thing, not the meta thing, but the overall
Yes.
MCU stuff you're talking about. Yeah.
Yes.
What's the son's name?
Scar.
Scar.
I kind of
this-
love that.
So
Is
this
this
is the
World War
son
Hulk style,
he-
or
This is Planet Hulk.
Planet Hulk. It's not going to be World War
yes,
Hulk, hopefully.
He was conceived during Planet Hulk in the comics.
Yeah.
So did Planet Hulk happen? Because I mean, there was the whole Ragnarok
Seems
stuff,
like it.
which was kind of Planet Hulk.
Do I need a Hulk
You're
movie
not
about
going to
that,
get one,
though?
though.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will not get
Universal's
that.
being a dick.
I do have to say though, remember in this show though, they brought up a character that I've brought up multiple times on this podcast for not being in the MCU, though also being in the MCU. They do bring up Red Hulk.
Like offhand account of like, oh, they're a Hulk also, but this one's red.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
she literally says Red Hulk. Like I think I don't know if I don't think it was this episode, but in the past episode, she was like, "Are we?" It's like something about like, "Are we not getting a Red Hulk?" or something like that. They were ending
the episode, and she was just like, "Does this episode feel like it's over?"
Mm-hmm.
Oh, then we have to set up the tease for the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I loved the breaking of the fourth wall. This show did the whole bout, like everything. Very, very happy with how this turned out.
Right? It's like a nice 25-minute little fun adventure.
Yeah. And like I found myself like, so this is a show that I watched with the wife. I've watched the first few episodes by myself, and then she was like, "But I really want to watch it," so I started watching it with her. But like today, I was like, no, I gotta watch this by myself. Like I'll bang this out and then I'll watch it later with her. Very happy I did that. So I'll get to watch it a second time. So maybe I'll pick up on things that I missed. I think she enjoys it. All of us know how she has an attention span of a goldfish. So where she's like, I want to watch it,
and then falls asleep. Yeah.
Or she's on her phone the whole time, or which, speaking of watching things with her, La Brea is back.
Oh God, yeah. Apparently, the number one fall TV show of last year.
Yeah,
I'm not sure where. I need to find out where they're deriving all that from.
I don't know, but
such a bad show.
It is bad, but I enjoy it.
All right. Let's move on. Final thing here.
All right, final thing that we want to talk about is last weekend Marvel somehow quickly and quietly dropped Werewolf by Night, which was not quite a movie, so I don't want to treat it as a movie because it's only like 45 minutes long. It is a special, technically one shot, but it definitely changes the MCU.
That will need to be explained to me.
So it introduces the fact that monsters exist. So Elsa Bloodstone is a monster hunter, who is one of the main characters of this, as well as others. So by introducing monsters, by monsters we mean werewolves or vampires. Blade. So it introduces that side of the MCU, so we can start expanding into that. Demons and whatnot. So you can get into
Morbius is out there,
but that is not MCU. That is Sony.
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't count because it's Sony. But it expands the Marvel Cinematic Universe, not the Sony Cinematic Universe. So it expands MCU, introduces us to monsters, and it introduces us to Elsa Bloodstone, who's a monster hunter. Also an on again, off again love interest of Deadpool, which is, weird. But and then it also introduces us to the werewolf from Werewolf by Night, which, I mean, for those who didn't know, well, Sam, did you know he was the werewolf?
I had my suspicions. He was acting all weird the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I thought the coolest reveal in this was what the monster was that they were hunting. Or I should say, who the monster was.
Swamp Thing?
No, that would be DC. This was Man
Thing. Yep, sorry. Yep.
Love me some Man Thing. Yeah. No,
that was. I like the CGI wasn't bad for that either.
Yeah, I was very happy. So, also in movie form, Man Thing is by far the worst Marvel movie of all time. You can look that up. It exists. Man Thing is a movie.
Even
And
those
it was
worse
like
than
a
those, like, Roger
sci-fi
Corman
original
ones
movie.
that got made in like the 90s that never got released.
You mean
Did they make
Fantastic
like an
Four? There's
Avengers
only
one
one.
too?
There's a movie
No.
called The Avengers. It's not.
No, that's but from the TV show, which then it's got Uma Thurman and Sean
No.
Connery
I
and-
mean like
was it
they
Ralph
like
Fiennes or whatever?
because like I know.
Are you thinking
Is
of
that
the
from
Incredible Hulk? Because like Thor shows up in that, and like there are
Yeah.
Avengers in the Incredible
Also,
Hulk.
shout out
show.
to the previous thing we were talking
Which,
about. We had
weird.
a Incredible Hulk intro.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Oh, well, did you know that weird bit of trivia? She-Hulk was created because that character was going to be created just for that show, and the show got canceled before they got into that. So Marvel rushed in and created that character for the comics. So that character was originally going to be for the show. Very Harley Quinn-esque, I guess you would say.
Fair enough. All right. Let's get into
Werewolf.
the nitty gritty about the Werewolf by Night here,
Yes.
guys. I really enjoyed this.
It was so different from MCU.
Yes, in that particular way. Like I love the black and white.
Yep.
I want to
The
say
old
say
school-
This is
1950s,
30s and 40s.
No,
This is-
no, further. We're
30s.
We're talking
Okay,
like
so 30s,
the
very
40s.
Universal
Wolfman
monster,
or the
but
Mummy
also
Yeah,
like
so-
those like
Dracula.
Yeah.
those
Yes.
movies that like Knives Out was kind of parodying as well, of like the murder in the house sort of deal.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
that was loved all of that. You know, the black and white. Loved the fact that the bloodstone was red,
yes,
and the one who held it had the color. You know, things like that. But it's also like the music was very 1950s
30s.
horror slasher. Not slasher because there wasn't really a
yeah.
slasher at that time, but
But
it was just like
horror.
the horror music
the
kind of
Like
atmosphere.
Sam said,
Yeah,
the universal
Universal
horror,
monster.
like
Exactly,
the classic horror.
100%. Like the set pieces were super old looking.
Yep. Yep.
Just really
You even had the
awesome.
busts on the wall, which were really cool looking.
Yep.
And you know, like you even had the main character and that like was a Scottish guy who was like, "Any of them yours?" And he's like, "Oh, he and I fought a few
Yeah.
times."
What was even better was the film.
Yeah, it's got
It looked like it was
gritty,
filmed
grainy.
with the film,
It's
like the
grainy.
blotches and everything.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's
It bothered me a few times because there was a spot in the upper right hand corner that kept showing up,
yeah.
and like it was a big spot. And
Yeah, it was.
My eye kept like going to that corner.
But the thing
like,
was, it
stop
made it so much. It made it so much more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say nostalgic, but like reminiscent of the old. And it's
Yes.
just a lot of the way this was shot with. I can't. I'm not a technical camera guy, but like the scene of the girl where he's transforming and the
Mm-hmm.
light is behind him and the shadow is in front of behind the girl who's
Yes.
sitting there.
Yeah.
A lot of that is just like, this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Please show me more of this. And then they did later when he's trying to scratch out of the thing and they just have the wide angle shot and it's kind of slowly, not even slowly zooming in. It's just kind of there.
Yeah.
Everything about this brought back, like, this is why
Yeah,
film was
yeah.
great, you know, back then. And I'm so happy they were able to turn a Marvel property and give the director, Michael Giacchino, like the ability to do that, like the ability to make this with putting its own individual twist on it. And I love the fact that they did that. My only wish for this movie is, and the thing I wanted more, is if they did the still camera shots instead of the moving camera shots. So when she's kind of walking amongst those like flower beds and stuff, the camera kind of follows with her. I almost wanted them to be more still and she would walk off camera and then show me different camera angle. Just to keep that kind of old timey you know, back then they did the still cameras. They didn't really move the camera too much, so
Because they were heavy as hell.
yeah. So I mean, I almost wanted them to kind of keep the still stuff. Even there was a ton of it in the film. Well, I don't want to say movie because it was less than that, but just a little bit more.
It was a love letter to classic horror cinema. Is how I saw this, and you see every once in a while a movie like nods its hat to a certain type of classic cinema. This one I definitely feel like hit the nail on the head for what it was trying to reproduce. And the fact that it's a technically superhero movie was great. Especially a movie that, other than a few instances, didn't really rely too much on CGI. It was a lot of practical, a lot of like in-location stuff. But the thing that I need to bring up that has not been brought up at all was going to be my intro, which is we need more flaming tubas.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Every once in a while you hear, "Brrr," and I'm like, is that like part of the soundtrack? Is that in the world? And then you see the guy walking down the like path with the fire shooting out of the tuba going, "Brrr."
Like,
I was like, oh
imagine,
man, I
like,
need this
those,
guy.
like, heavy metal bands that are all about spectacle and they got like flaming stuff, but it's polka. Just like,
Yeah.
it's not
Heavy
even
metal polka.
metal. It's just polka, but all the instruments are shooting fire and shit, and everybody's in masks.
Yeah.
So my thoughts,
Sam, what are your
very
thoughts?
similar to you guys. Like, I enjoyed the aesthetics of this. It's nice. It's nice that like we get nostalgia that's not stuck in like the 70s or 80s. You know, that we can go back this far and be like,
Yeah.
give some nostalgia for people who still watch the old movies. Because these kind of movies just had a feel to them because they couldn't be all bloody and slashy and stuff because they didn't have the budget. This is very bloody.
Is bloody.
Yeah, this
This
is
is
bloody.
bloody. Compared to anything MCU
But
has ever put out, this
the
is
olden days,
very
they had to
gory.
rely on other stuff to make their movies scary like this. They had to rely a lot on like atmosphere and like Vincent Price.
Yep. Sound.
Yeah, but that's like the music plays such
Not
an
on
important
Vincent.
part of this
Yeah, yeah.
too. Like the music, even just like the high notes for the music that just you're like it's peaking, but I know it's not peaking. It's just really loud,
Yeah,
and I know this is what they did in the old movies.
I have one note, and it's a note you never really ever hear. This needs to be longer. Like, I didn't really know the characters all that well.
It did it.
It was.
Did
don't
it
get me
though?
wrong. It is
Yeah, but
long.
did you really?
It
It was long.
It was
as-
perfect
It was long
for
enough
what it
for me
needed
to
to be.
enjoy it, but I feel like I would have.
I mean,
I feel like
Supernatural
we
did
could
this in
enjoy this
45 minutes,
more.
so
If we spend a bit more time with these characters and establish what the hell is going on a little bit better.
Well, going forward, the things that are coming out of this that'll affect.
I'm not even
different
concerned of like
areas of
I
the
need to know
MCU
how
is,
this fits
like I
in.
said-
I'm just like I want a little bit more in this.
No,
little
I know
vignette.
that. Yeah, but we get more. We're gonna get into monsters more. I think it was Feige actually came out and said like this is an important movie because this is very valuable
but
for
you really
where
gonna
the
believe that
MCU
robot?
is going to be going.
yeah.
Oh,
was Kevin,
did you guys notice
not
the
Kevin.
robot is
I
wearing
don't.
a cap?
I'm wondering if it's.
Yes, I did notice.
I'm wondering if he's meaning that, not in the sense that these characters, you know, you'll see him again or it's important, but like this is the style where we're gonna have specials now, and this is where.
And I would
this
be
is
okay
what
with
I
that.
would want. This is what I want. I think the big takeaway from this is, or at least in my eyes, these like D-level, C-level characters in the universe, whatever it may be, you're like, it's not big enough for the movies, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be hard to fit it into a TV show. But if you give it to a director or a writer who has like this unique vision and wants to make something different, and you can do it on a relatively good budget, because this seems like it was done, rather modestly,
Yeah.
compared to other MCU TV shows or movies for that matter, obviously. But like if you get a C-level property and you can't fit it in TV show, can't fit it in a movie, but a director or writer comes up and says, "Hey, I got this great idea. We're gonna film it this way. We're gonna do in this case, we're gonna do black and white. We're gonna make it 30s, 40s horror slasher, and it's gonna be less than an hour. $10 million. Here you go." And then,
do we know the budget on this?
I don't think so, but I mean, I'm just talking theoretically. So if this was a horror movie, horror movies typically have less than $50 million budgets. But I mean, look, I think this is maybe what Feige was talking about, that these style of TV series or specials are coming our way, and I'm 100% down with it. I mean, we already got a taste of it with the WandaVision.
What I've been saying
that was fun
for a while about,
but
we've all been saying is about the MCU and Disney Plus shows is just get weird with it. Like we know comic books get weird. We know like these D and C level heroes are all just a bunch of weirdos and they do weird stuff. Get weird with this. Don't give me Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where it's like, and this isn't a bad movie. Why? Or even like Moon Knight, where it's like,
right. So
you could have gotten weird with this, but you didn't get
Moon Knight
all the way weird with it.
Moon Knight in the end stayed within the parameters. I think it was just interesting.
But they didn't play that with
the multiple personalities like that. Yeah, they did. I mean, granted,
the highlight of the whole show,
but still, it's you're absolutely like Miss Marvel. I haven't seen it yet, but it's probably going to be following in between the lines. WandaVision actually ventured outside the lines a little.
It kind of came back at the end.
Different film styles and it definitely pulled a 180 and went back to the thing. So I like these ideas.
And
let's
She-Hulk
let's
was
go
the
with
same
this
thing,
because this was fun to watch.
Weird.
I mean, I know
it was just a weird, especially for an MCU property. It was weird.
Well, it's not even weird. The stakes were so low that it just made it so much more fun. And they meta spoke about it too. In the end, we're like, no. Let's keep this. Let's just keep this simple. We don't need all this crap.
I like the big thing for me was that they were able to sneak in Man-Thing, like and
all
just
those
not
Man-Thing fans out there.
Like, well, granted, you like, I am a fan of Man-Thing. Like I said, Man-Thing has a movie that no one's ever seen. I have, but like, he's popular enough where a small studio went to Marvel and was like, "Hey, we want to make this into a movie." So like. There are people around that know who Man-Thing is. R.L. Stine recently did a Man-Thing series, like 3-4 years ago. It was bad.
When you got R.L.
But he
Stine
still
behind
did
you,
it.
you know
So
exactly.
So look, let's just finish up the werewolf stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Whether or not Feige says this is an important part of the universe or whatever, I'm perfectly okay if we don't see.
Yeah,
these
I'm fine.
characters.
I don't need to see them.
I'm perfectly okay with it.
I'm just happy that monsters. Well, Elsa Bloodstone will probably be back.
Maybe, but I'm okay if it doesn't.
I feel like she will be back, either like in Blade or something. She is tied to Blade.
Maybe
as a monster hunter.
Maybe we'll see. But again,
I can't see why she wouldn't. Why would you spend this time with that character? Like this could. So take out Elsa Bloodstone from this movie. It's kind of the same movie. You don't really need that character, so why introduce that character unless you're going to use her again? Now you don't have to do a movie, an intro movie for her, like to set her up as a character and like get her backstory. Like this already did all that for us. So now if she shows up in the Blade movie, we know who Elsa Bloodstone is. We don't have to deal with anything else with her. We don't need to know her backstory.
I guess I don't know. I think just being able to do these things for cheap, it's I think there's a market for it. So, all right.
Checking to see if she's in Blade. Yeah, no, she's not named for in any other future the actress for any future projects. But
I mean, 92% approval on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
it was good, like
Fun
very
time.
surprisingly good, and yeah. Which I mean, like, we're gonna be getting the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special,
Apparently, James Gunn,
which I
also
have high
said
hopes
that.
for because
'Cause
it's
I remember hearing him saying like, "This is the
Well,
greatest
he directed
thing I've
it.
ever made." I'm like, I can't tell if that's hyperbole.
I mean, like, I do like these short one-offs. Like, keep bringing them to me.
And
There's
we
plenty of characters
don't,
out there,
you know, it's one of the,
that
you
we can
know,
introduce.
One of the problems with the fall of the network TV, we don't get TV specials anymore. You know, we get Netflix movies and
No,
stuff,
we
but we don't
don't.
get like, you know, little special presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go. Well, we're gonna talk to the kids about drugs.
It is
now.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We're long.
We're always long.
We're very long. Let's
You
tie
said
it.
short. Anyways, yeah.
No, not
So,
really. I think
any final thoughts
said
on
everything I
anything,
wanted.
guys?
Oh, I enjoyed
Yeah.
this. It's fun.
Yeah. The last two MCU stuff, props. Also, forgot to mention, hey, they called out MCU for not using the X-Men yet. Forgot to mention that. And she gave them the camera a thumbs up when she asked it. I love that.
Right.
Anyways,
Just keep bugging them. She literally was a voice of the fans.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Very happy with that. Yeah, no, these last two projects, very happy. Next MCU project is what? Obviously, we got Wakanda coming up.
Guardians Christmas special, no?
Is that the next thing to come
Oh
out
no.
on Disney Plus?
Well, Black Panther's gonna be in theaters, so
Right, I'm
it's-
talking Disney Plus, like show or special.
No, I think it's that because Andor still has several weeks left.
Right. Oh yeah. So that.
Oh
would
wait, when
dump
does Bat?
right
Well,
on-
that's MCU stuff. I don't know. I think it's the Guardian special then if it's Disney Plus.
How come I was thinking that that was coming out? Was it next year?
Well, why would they release a Christmas special?
No, I'm saying the
Next
Christmas
Christmas?
special's coming out next year. That's
No, I'm
mean,
pretty sure it's this.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I'm like checking. I'm like, how do I check this quickly? Oh,
I mean,
yeah, Chris Pratt.
There's just like one other Marvel
that's the
news.
easiest
It's like
way to do it.
they moved forward or back everything. Back, yeah,
Everything
yeah,
back. Everything has been moved.
yeah.
back.
Everything got moved back,
Including
and that
Deadpool
caused Dune to be moved back 2
Um,
weeks. So all is right in this world.
Cool. Yeah, Guardians holiday special is this year, 2022. December sometime. They don't have a date yet.
All right.
So
All
I
right.
guess that's the next Disney Plus thing. So
Yep.
I'm happy that it's a special and not a TV show.
All right. Let's go.
All right. Well, if you like all of our podcasts, you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, and then Google and everything else. Find us on YouTube for Nights of Nerditude. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Nights of Nerditude. Send us a comment. Let us know if there's any movies or TV shows you want us to review or anything sciencey you want us to talk about.
Science.
Because let's be honest, that was a lot of fun. All right. She blinded me
Bye.
with science. All right. Until next time.
Later.